Hello, this is Sebastian Griffin. I would like to make myself clear that I do not wish to have any apprentice or any students. I do not wish to associate with any Malaysians or people in this region other than my own child, which is Daviton and my little ancestor. Now, the reason why I say this is because there are some young men approach me to be his mentor. Now, I have done nothing so far, so I do not think there's anything that I can teach them, and I do not wish to have anything related to Malaysians for obvious reason. I also hope to tell my mother that I do not want to have anything to do with the company, whether it's her own company or the company related to her family. I also do not have any authority or any influence over Malaysia government, especially when it comes to granting projects. There are some businessmen, well-known business tycoon with the rank of Tan Sri. Now, Tan Sri is something like a lordship, a lord, like a baron or probably earl or something equivalent to that of Europe title. Now, I do not know why he approached me, called me up and asked for approval, a project approval amounting to hundreds of million ringgit Malaysia. Now, first of all, I do not work in the Malaysia government, and I do not have any jurisdictions over whether which contractor or which company should grant projects, and I personally do not favor cronyism. I'm all anti-cronyism. Whether it's cronyism or kleptocracy, I do not think all this nonsense work in any country. I believe in meritocracy. Now, what does it mean by meritocracy? Meritocracy means a person, a contractor, a company who want to tender for projects, they need to show their competency, their technical skill, their financial strength, their experience in order to undertake the projects, and the government or the developer have the right to evaluate based on certain criteria. Now, I have to make myself clear that I never worked in the Malaysia public sector before. I never worked with any government before, whether it's Malaysia, Singapore, or elsewhere in the world. And I definitely are not affiliating with any government, or especially Malaysia. I do not have any affiliations with anyone in the government. I do not know anyone in the government. And also, I also like to make myself clear that I would not accept any honorific title from Malaysia, whether it's Dato' Tan Sri, Dato' Sri Tun, or whatever title. I am not accepting any Malaysia honorific title. And also, I would not, I definitely do not have the power to have any say or any influence over Malaysia government, whether to grant a project or to grant land or whatever. I am not entitled and to have such power, and I am not interested to give anyone such privileges. I strongly believe everyone is equal before the law, and public official should evaluate tenderer, private company based on their merit, based on their competency, whether they can deliver the projects or not based on their whether it's their kinship or it's because of their skin color or religion or any other influences that is other than his competency. So this, I make myself very clear, and hope those business people do not come, those business person that want job, one project from government, do not come to me. I have nothing related to Malaysia government, nothing at all. So I hope I make myself very clear, and hope they can understand my stand, and I hope they do not make such a stupid mistake again. I think I gave him a bit of advice about the legal the legality of what is letter of intention. Now, there were a letter of intent issued by a government a previous government to that Tan Sri, to that businessman, stating that the government have the intent to engage the company for the job, but somehow the project didn't go to the company. I do not want to say who is that Tan Sri, but I have no affiliations with that any Tan Sri or any businessman in Malaysia, and I do not wish to have any relationship with any business person based in Malaysia, that is based in Malaysia. I do not wish to have anything related to them. And as of so far, I think I make myself very clear that I would like to liquidate whatever asset I have in the country, in Malaysia, and the proceed of which I would use to invest and to develop projects in United Kingdom and elsewhere in the world. I would not come to Southeast Asia so soon. So I hope people can understand my stand. I think I have made my stand very clear, and I hope they do not repeat. And I also not interested to have I also not interested with any Malaysians girl, whether it's girl, it's a man or woman or pondan or transgender, whichever gender. That means I do not wish to have any personal relationship with any Malaysian person, any person that of Malaysian nationality. I do not wish to be their spouse, boyfriend or whatever. I do not wish to have any close relationship. I do not wish to have any close relationship with any Malaysians. So I hope I made myself very clear. The same also apply to Singapore. To Singapore, to Thailand, to Myanmar, in fact to ASEAN region. But for other country other than Malaysia, Myanmar and Thailand, I would probably come back for investment. There are issues in this region, some of the country, but I'm not working with any public. I do not work with any government, so I believe I do not have a right to have a say on the local politics, whether it's in Malaysia, Singapore or elsewhere in the world. Now I may write in suggestions like what I done previously. I wrote to Singapore government, I wrote to other countries to comment and to advise, to give suggestions, but it is up to them, it is up to the local government to decide what to do next. I have no prerogative or no right to intervene their politics. Now as far as I know, only when a country violate the human right in a very severe, in a very terrible fashions, then only international audience have the right to step in and intervene. Now in this case, I believe I do not need to intervene, and I'm not in the positions to intervene any country. Especially I do not represent any country. I only interested to work as to be a businessman, to work more on the private sector, not the public sector. And I hope those Malaysians people, especially businessmen, can understand my stand. I do not try their luck. I think they run out of their luck. And also the reason why I declare here is that I do not wish because they might have some people impersonate me or falsely represent me or misrepresent me to say something other than my intention. So I think I have the right and I need to declare openly that I do not have any proxy representative or any delegate as of now, and I do not wish to have any affiliations with any Malaysians as of now. So I hope the public can understand and do not call me for any business anymore. I believe I make my stand very clear as of now. And also I also want to stay here that I never participate in any company, any conglomerate such as Berjaya, Genting or YTL, I never participate in their executive. I never play an executive role in all that company, and I do not wish to have any affiliation with them. Now I'm not saying they are bad or anything. It's just that I declare that I do not have any affiliation. Now in the event that I might inherited some shares in some company in Malaysia, my intention is to sell it off. I do not intend to retain it. To sell it off as soon as possible at the best price possible. Now as soon as possible, the best is within the period of 6 months or a year, not more than that. I do not wish to have anything to do in Malaysia, not only Malaysia but ASEAN. So I hope I can make myself very clear, and please do not. And I also noticed that there are rivalry, inheritance rivalry from probably my step sibling. I believe I have step sibling from my mother's side, also from my father's side. I'm not sure, but I think there are quite a number of them. And on top of step sibling, they also have a cousin. Now all of them are inheritance rivalry for the inheritance from my grandparent or my parents. Now I have openly disowned my parents in order to avoid all this nonsense. So I hope my cousin can understand that I'm not their inheritance rivalry. I'm out of the picture because I do not wish to have anything related to my parents, and therefore I do not receive their inheritance. And since I do not receive their inheritance, I am not their competitor, and hope they stop sabotage my life. It should put a full stop over here. Whether related or not, I hope they treat me as a stranger, as a normal person. So far, I never received any help from my cousin. No, nothing. No help at all. Not only no help, those that are into the inheritance rivalry are trying to undermine me. So it is creating a lot of problem for me. Now as for my parents, I do not know who is my father. My mother is Esther Lim, a well-known figure, probably a very influential figure in Malaysia, whether it's in the public sector or in the private sector. But I only know her in 2021. Before 2021, I do not know she is my mother. So I have to declare this. I'm now already 40 over years old, and I have to declare this because they might have a lot of people misunderstand that because of my family background, they approach me for projects, they approach me for money and all that. So I have to make myself very clear. Before 2021, I do not know who is my mother, I do not know who is my father, and even until now, I have no idea who is my father. I only know his surname is probably Tan, T-A-N, Tan, Hokkien. Tan is Hokkien, Chan is Cantonese. In Mandarin, they call Chen. Different pronunciation, but it's exactly the same word, Tan. My mom is Lim, also from Hokkien province, Fujian province. The ancestral root is from China, but they are not China lah. Of course, they are not China citizen. So it just like the president, the prime minister of UK, United Kingdom, is an Indian ethnic, Rishi Sunak, but he is definitely not an Indian by nationality. He is an Indian by ethnic, but a British by nationality. So I'm not I'm a Chinese by ethnic, but definitely nothing related to the China, whether it's the China government or the China country. But no doubt, China is a very beautiful country. I visited China many times. It is a very affordable place for visit. Very rich in culture. It's just like India. That's all I want to say. Talk about my father, because I have no knowledge about my father, whether what company, what business, or who is he, how he look like, what is his full name, I do not know. So no idea, I can't talk much about my father. About my mother, I know it's Esther Lim. It's a very wealthy one. The family used to be the richest in Malaysia, but she has not given me anything. Now she used to work in Xiaxiong, this company called Xiaxiong. I think she brought the company, and I so happened that I applied for the company. I believe she done something on it to intervene in order to infiltrate the company. So I applied into this company called Xiaxiong and went for interview and get recruited. I believe all the staff in Xiaxiong are not genuine staff. They are even Dayang, that are not from Istana. I work in a Xiaxiong company, in a Xiaxiong Constructions. So throughout this Xiaxiong, I do not know who is my mother. Esther Lim, I think she pretend to be an admin manager, and there are some of other staff. All of them are imposter of some other people. So they are not genuinely working in Xiaxiong, but just there to maybe to monitor me or to know more about me. I think she did not disclose herself, her identity, but we barely spoken. As of right now, I think I have not speak to her more than 10 minutes. Throughout my entire life, I think I do not have a conversation more than 10 minutes with her. So I barely know her at all. Since I was small, I was taken care by a person called Ng Beng Kiat. Was live in a poverty until now, and I make myself I try to work, I try to make a living by myself, but all this while has been sabotaged by a lot of people. I do not know what is the reason, and now I know probably it's because of inheritance rivalry. Now, not only that I do not receive any opportunity for education, not access to my inheritance, not access to any kind of like sort of like quality life, quality lifestyle. I was living in poverty in a wooden house. Since I was small, I need to come out to work. I think when I was 8-year-old, 9-year-old, I worked in a wet market. So I need to work for people in order to pay my rent, and feed myself at my age of 8-9-year-old onwards. So imagine that. And I also, when I graduated from high school, I also do not have money to pursue my higher education, and therefore I have to went for the cheapest college and struggling to pay tuition fees. So all these are attributed by my parents. I believe they are billionaire, but despite their wealthy status, they never support any. They never give any financial support. There is no love, no care, no financial support at all from both my parents. So I really do not know what happened, and even until now, they are constantly monitoring me, hack my phone, infiltrate my my career. Wherever I work, they will went there and infiltrate. They know what email I send. They are constantly monitoring my every of my move. So it's a way of infiltrate. It's a way of it's a way of sort of like, this kind of control freak is actually a breach of a human right. It's actually violating my human right, and therefore I hope they can stop all this nonsense. Now, if I in a scenario, I can imagine in a scenario, even if I were to grown up in an orphanage, I could probably right now enjoy a better life, have a family of my own. If I do not sabotaged by all these people, my life, I think, could be much better. Of course, I'm not a billionaire, but I could probably be a millionaire by myself and have a family that I'm already contented. I do not wish to be, super rich or whatever. That all these nonsense are not something that I crave for. I hope they can stop disturb me, and especially my cousin, because and I also want to state here very clear that I do not treat any of my cousin or my step sibling, or even my sister, could be my sister from my mother and father. I hope they understand I never grown up with them. There is no relationship, there is no love between me and them. I hope they can treat me with respect. A distant friend means they do their work, I do my work. I hope they do not sabotage my life, and I do not hope they interfere my business or whatever. So they do their job and I do my job. They do their business, I do mine. And if they come and disturb me, I will treat them as enemy. There is no leeway for them. I will treat them like a stranger, like a outsider. So I hope they stop disturbing me, because I do not recognize their parents. I do not treat their parents as uncle, auntie, or whatever. And I do not give a shit, since nobody give me a shit, nobody provide any aids to me, no help at all. So I hope I make myself very clear that and I do not wish to partner with any Malaysian, whether it's in Malaysia or elsewhere in the world. I do not wish to have any business joint venture or to have anything related to them. So I made myself very clear, if they come and disturb me, and I will treat them as enemy. I will expel them. I will treat them like a dog. So hope they can understand. And those that owe me money, and please pay me properly. Those company that I have shares, and please give respect to me. And if you treat me like a dog, and you're gonna get it from me in return. So in the Chinese saying, there's say that I'm not a vegetarian. That means I'm not a Buddha. I'm not a Buddha. I'm not a Jesus. I will retaliate if you initiate any aggression or cause any harm to me first. Now, of course, I will not cause any harm to you unless you do it to me first. Now, I'm the type of person, I have to make myself very clear. I do not believe in all the bullshit like what happened in the Oriental or the Asians behavior, the Asian culture bullshit, where people are behaving very covertly, very insidiously. I do not do that. I'm very open type of people. I tell you upfront, who am I? I do not like to pretend to be a saint or to pretend to be a Buddha. So I hope I make myself clear, and I hope you can respect me in return. You respect me, I respect you. You don't cross the border. If you cross the border, and then you're gonna get it from me. And I also have to stay here that I'm not gay. I do not prefer any men, just because it could be because of inheritance or money or whatever. Even men sell their body. I do not their body or soul. I hope I do not need to elaborate this any longer. Now I also have to make myself very clear that I am not gay. Although I do not discriminate the LGBTI. Now they got I think many alphabet, LGBTIQ, QI, and plus. There are so many terms for it, but in short, they call LGBT. So LGBT group, I do not discriminate them, but I'm not one of them. I'm a straight person. A straight person means that I prefer female, and only female. And I would not prefer anyone from Asia, especially Southeast Asia. So I made myself very clear. So I narrow my choices into to developed country only. So I hope I made myself very clear, and so that you do not have any misunderstanding. Now I do not know what is the reason my parents didn't take care of me. For many reasons, rich people, they have a family outside, they have multiple family, and this applicable to both male and female. So I could have many stepfather, I could have many stepmother from both sides of my parents. I do not know, because I do not know them. But whichever outcome, or whichever whatever happened, it is up to them. They are a grown-up adult. I do not have any. I'm not imposing anything to them, and I'm not blaming them for anything. It is their right. It is their personal, their human right. Whether they call it an extra affair or whatever. But what I know is that if you bear children, then you need to take care of the children. That is the duty. There is a duty of care toward the child. But in my case, if you do not want me, then please do not entangle me with all this pest. I call it a pest, inheritance driver. This inheritance driver is causing a toll in my life. I used to work in Singapore, and even a safe country like Singapore, they dare to disturb me. So if they have the audacity to assault me, to steal my wallet, in order to check what are the things that I have, how many money that I have in my wallet, to spy on me, I believe all these are violating, not only breaking the law, but also violating my human right. And not only in Singapore, of course, wherever I travel, whether it's in Dubai, Vietnam, or in elsewhere in the world, they have the audacity to disturb me. So which also means that they have certain influence, they have certain political influence in the region, especially in ASEAN region. I do not know who are they, especially from my father's side, but I really disown them. I hope they can stop disturb me. And those cousins that are fighting for money, please stop at once. I'm not interested to fight with you for inheritance, and hope you can respect me. So this is what I have to say now, and I think everybody clear about this. I think Merdeka is approaching. I saw there are so many soldiers and so many public servants prepare for it. Now despite I can't get out of Malaysia right now, because I do not have any document. Now for sure I do not hold any travel document from Malaysia, and I do not consider myself as a Malaysian, because a Malaysian supposed to have a Malaysian passport. You see, in a country, in certain countries, for example in UK, how they identify themselves as a citizen is that it's only through the birth certificate where they're born in the country, and also the passport. Now for those naturalized to become a convert, that means those convert to British citizen through naturalizations, they have a British passport. And for those automatically born as a British through the principle of jus soli, they are having a birth certificate as a proof of their citizenship. So if you do not hold a passport, you are not a citizen of that country. If that country refuse to issue you a passport, that means you are no longer the citizen of the country. Now I do not hold any Malaysian passport, but I wish Malaysia all the best, and also because I think there are some misunderstanding between me and government, Malaysia government. Now I do not like the racist policy in Malaysia, but it is none of my business. Now if I do not consider myself as a citizen of this country, I do not have a right to intervene the internal affair or the political affair of the country. The same apply to Thailand and Myanmar. So I will not intervene, despite I know there are democracy crises happening in Thailand and Myanmar, and there are also severe human rights issues happen in Thailand, Myanmar, Malaysia, and many other countries in the region. But it is out of my scope, out of my purview, and as a private entity, I do not interfere. Although I know a lot of things, I can write a lot of things, but I do not interfere. So there is a difference between knowing and also power to intervene. I do not work for any government, so I do not represent any government to interfere any other government. There are also many countries in Africa or any other elsewhere in the world that having some crisis, human rights crisis. So it's not only Malaysia, and although I'm right now in Malaysia, but does not mean that I need to intervene. I do not wish to intervene. I hope Malaysia all the best. Malaysia so far, the way I look at it, Malaysia has been developed very very rapidly, especially in the economy aspect. The economy and the physical infrastructure is near to developed country, but the mentality, the people mentality is still a third world mentality. That is what people say about Malaysia in terms of civic minded. Now I hope Malaysia can improve on the software side of the country. That means the civic minded, and also in terms of language, in terms of behavior and all that. I hope Malaysia all the best, especially Malaysia is going to celebrate, actually Malaya is going to celebrate the Independence Day, I think tomorrow. So I hope Malaysia all the best, and I hope I make myself very clear. There is no misunderstanding between me and any parties in Malaysia. Thank you very much.